The Stars and Stripes Show, presented by the Oklahoma City Association of Broadcasters. On July 4th, in Oklahoma City, almost 9,000 people gathered to celebrate the birthday of our Declaration of Independence. This free show starred Miss Anita Bryant, Jimmy Webb, the national cast of Up With People, the Strategic Air Command Headquarters Band, and featured Apollo 10 astronauts Colonel Thomas Stafford and Commander Eugene Cernan. We invite you now to join us for an edited version of this birthday celebration. Your Master of Ceremonies is Howard Newman.
You know, it's very fitting that we gather here on the 193rd birthday of our country to rededicate ourselves to the principles upon which this nation was founded. Among these principles are the belief that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is also very fitting that we present now the flags that represent the 50 sovereign states of this great nation, the parade of flags. Of flags, our flag, the flag of these United States of America. And now, while we're all standing, let's join these fine young men in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then join in the singing of our national anthem.
Great band, forward. Gap, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
would you join me in remaining reverently silent while the Reverend Dr. Herschel Hobbs, Rabbi Joseph Levinson, and the Right Reverend Monsignor William Gardoff ask God's blessing on this happy occasion.
O God, our Heavenly Father, Thou who hast been our dwelling place from generation unto generation, we pause to give thanks to Thee for life and liberty and the right to the pursuit of happiness. We thank Thee for our forefathers who provided our freedom, for those who came after them who have preserved it. And we pray that we may accept the responsibility that is ours. Bless our nation. Be with our young men and women who face danger around the world. And grant that the day may come when men shall dwell together in love, in fellowship, and in peace. For we ask it in Jesus' name.
Our God and God of our fathers, Thou art the author of liberty. It is Thy will that all men be free. We thank Thee for the liberty that our nation, the United States of America, achieved in its war for independence. May we never abuse our liberties by employing them to our own advantage, while depriving others of the opportunity to realize their just desires and hopes. May we never forfeit our liberties by permitting our minds to be enslaved to error, superstition, or prejudice, or our wills to yield to the promptings of cowardice or self-indulgence. Let us ever cherish our nation's independence and the freedom of its institutions, so that our people may serve Thee and Thy law of love and justice. Amen.
Our Father in heaven, help us to love our country more deeply, to prize more fully the principles of freedom and equality for all upon which our nation is founded, and to see our blessed role in bringing true freedom to all men within and outside America. Help us to be properly grateful for the prosperity we enjoy, and at the same time be more deeply concerned for the plight of our poor and needy brothers wherever they live. Most of all, make America an instrument of your peace on earth. We ask this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
You know, not too many years ago, there was a little girl running around Oklahoma City in an outfit with a red feather in her hat, and she was singing the praises of the community chest, the United Fund. Now, everyone who heard her liked to hear her sing. They said, oh, boy, she's got a fine voice, hasn't she, for a little girl? But very few, if any, realized just how great she would become. how soon she was singing on television in Oklahoma City on the Scotty Harrell show. Then she had her own television show as a little girl. She went to Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts program and won, and she got a regular spot on the Godfrey show. She became runner-up in the Miss America contest, and since then she belongs to the world. This young lady is the only entertainer beside Will Rogers who's a member of the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. And she's the youngest member of the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. Bob Hope called her the greatest thing ever to happen to Christmas tours for the USO. We just call her Miss Wonderful. Here she is, our own Anita Bryant.
Come on and take a walk with me through this green and growing land. Walk through the meadows and the mountains and the sand. Walk through the valleys and the rivers and the plains. Walk through the sun and walk through the rain. Here's a land full of power and glory, beauty that words cannot recall. Oh, her power shall rest in the strength of her freedom. Her glory shall rest on us all. Yet she's only as rich as the poorest of the poor, only as free as a padlocked prison door, only as strong as our love for this land, only as tall as we stand. Here's a land full of power and glory, beauty that words cannot recall. Oh, her power shall rest in the strength of her freedom. Her glory shall rest on us all. Here's a land full of power and glory, beauty that words cannot recall. Oh, her power shall rest in the strength of her freedom. Her glory shall rest on us all.
Miss Anita Bryant. You know, there's a lot of talk about the generation gap, but I don't know whether it's as wide as it's pictured. A group of students from the Belle Isle School, the 6th grade at the Belle Isle School here in Oklahoma City, have prepared a short message for us that seems to bridge whatever gulf there may be between the ages.
Today, as all of you know, is the 4th of July. It is a time of celebration because on this day, almost 200 years ago, our country declared its independence and became the United States of America. We are the 6th graders of Belle Isle Elementary School of Oklahoma City. We are going to sing and speak about our country. We hope this will remind you how very fortunate you are and how proud you should be to be an American.
Knowing what our flag stands for places on each of us a burden of responsibility. As it stands proudly out from its staff, it calls to us, be loyal, yes, but be just. Have courage, surely, but have truth. Be always a zealous American, but always leave room for friendship with others.
You carry your country's flag with you wherever you go. You carry it by the way you think, by the way you talk, by the way you act. Never by words, thoughts, or actions permit it to drag in the dust of greed or laziness. Never spoil it by inaction
where action is called for, or haste when reason is called for.
It is our job to see to it that the colors and the things they stand for never fade. Isn't our flag a synonym of the United States of America? Does it not represent man's greatest and noblest dream? Is it not the crowning achievement and goal toward which generations have worked?
We need to stop for a moment and think. Let us set aside our admiration for material success and consider the spiritual and ethical values. We need to rekindle in ourselves the so-called old-fashioned way of patriotism, a burning devotion to the principles and ideals on which our country was founded.
The events of the past and present are wrapped up in our flag. It is a symbol of this blessed nation. Since the first day of independence, the flag has remained a vivid witness to countless moments of American history.
The flag has grown with the nation. Summing up in its stars and stripes is the story of America's expansion from 13 uncertain and divided colonies to a global power. Each new star has been a tribute to the pioneer. The flag has flown over our nation's triumphs and tragedies. Today, Americans need to remember these moments. Old glory, the stars and stripes of memory and history, the flag of freedom, the flag that Americans have died for, and under which we so proudly live, this flag of ours.
The best is yet to come, and it's my privilege at this time to present the Governor of Oklahoma, the Honorable Dewey F. Bartlett. And Mrs. Bartlett.
Thank you very much. This is a great day, and Ann and I are certainly happy to be with you, to celebrate our birthday, to tell you of our pride in being an American and being an Okie, and seeing you, by being here, express your pride in being an American. This is a day of which we're very proud, because we're also proud of the tremendous flight of Apollo 10. We're proud of the 3 astronauts and the many backup people, scientists who made it possible. We're proud of the techniques involved, the intelligence involved, and the courage involved. And we're very proud of this to be an American, and because of Colonel Tom Stafford, of being an Okie. So let's give the Staffords and the Cernans, our number one Okie and our honorary number one Okie, and their families, a big hand. Faye and Barbara.
Falling from the roof, and now the balloons are being released as our astronauts Tom Stafford and Cernan make their way to the stage.
I have to present to Colonel Tom Stafford, our number one Okie, the first Okie ring. I want to say to our honorary number one Okie, Gene Cernan, that his ring is not ready yet, but it will be sent to him just as soon as it is. In fact, I hope I'll be able to deliver it myself in person. But to Colonel Tom Stafford, the first Okie ring. Tom, here it is.
Thank you, Governor Bartlett. I'll tell you, for all of us, it's great to be back here in Oklahoma. I'd like to introduce you to my wife, Faye. Commander Cernan, who flew with me on Gemini 9 and Apollo 10. And his wife, Barbara Cernan. You know, I couldn't think of a better day to come back here and see all you people than the birthday of our great country, United States of America. But, you know, everybody is proud of their state. They're proud of their individual town. And for Gene and myself, the other John Young on Apollo 10, we wanted to do something for the state of Oklahoma, also for the program that Governor Bartlett has with respect to pride in Oklahoma. And so there were several things. As you know, we had one of our spacecraft named Snoopy. And when we finally left Snoopy, we sent the ascent stage of Snoopy around the sun. So forever. In fact, out to infinity, Snoopy is going to go around the sun. But inside Snoopy, we had placed several articles there. And one of the articles was a little Okie pin. Now, we also brought back some Okie pins with us, one of which I'm wearing, and one which Gene, who is an honorary Oklahoman, is wearing an Okie pin. And to start with on this presentation, I'd like to replace Governor Bartlett's Okie pin with one that's been to the moon.
Tom Stafford puts the pin on Governor Bartlett.
There were also several other items that we had on board. We had an American flag and the flag of 50 states on board. Said, however, since I was a commander of the mission, we had 2 Oklahoma flags on board. But we did manage to bring some Oklahoma flags back here after the 31 revolutions around the moon, in which we went down to 8 miles. And I have these 3 Oklahoma flags to present to the Governor Bartlett and to the people of the state of Oklahoma to be presented to the Historical Society to have in the Capitol. Governor. You know, we had quite a time on the 8 days out there in Charlie Brown and Apollo 10. One thing that we thought was a great privilege for us to do is to be able to share that mission with you. And I'm sure you all saw the live television color cast as we sent it back to the Earth. You saw how beautiful our Earth is, and also how much we're thankful that we were representing our great America. But after a while, when we were out there, we had a couple of spare minutes. We were taking pictures of the Earth going away. And I told Gene, I said, well, the cloud cover cleared back, and I said, look, you can see Oklahoma. He said, where? I said, well, you're not looking hard enough. But we did manage to take a picture of Oklahoma and the surrounding territory. And to be placed in the state capitol, I want to present this to Governor Bartlett, who will place it in the state capitals from the crew of Apollo 10. It is a picture of Oklahoma and the surrounding territory.
Tom and Jean, thank you very much. Let me read this to you. It says, to all the great Okies of great Oklahoma, we share your pride in a great state from our moon's eye view from Apollo 10. And it's signed by Tom Stafford and Gene Cernan and John Young. Thank you very much. This will be in the Capitol.
We also have one more presentation to make, and this is to the Chief Executive Officer, to Governor Bartlett, who's done a great job as the #1 citizen of the state here. He's a great American and a great Oklahoman. And for his office, we have this flag of Oklahoma, the American flag, and the patch of Apollo 10. Governor Bartlett. You know, early in history, when man first started to study the moon, he started to name craters and seas like we have Copernicus, we have the Sea of Crisis, the Sea of Tranquility, and even a Spanish astronomer named a series of mountains there, the Pyrenees. But this is the first time that any feature of the moon has had a name tagged on it for hills. And believe me, besides over in the eastern part of the state, the Oklahoma hills, there's one up there around the moon. If you look hard, you can see them. I'd like to now have Commander Cernan say a few words to you. It was my privilege to fly with Gene on Gemini 9, in which he was the first man to ever go around the world outside of a spacecraft, and he shared the 8 days with us on Apollo 10. It was Gene and I that went down to 8 miles above the moon in Snoopy and came back up. And now one of the greatest pilots I've ever known, Commander Gene Cernan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a tremendous pleasure for me to be back in Oklahoma and Oklahoma City at any time, but I think especially today. I'd like to tell you a little story about this Okie pin I'm wearing. About 3 years ago, after we flew on Gemini 9, Tom said, if you do a good job, if you do something extra special, I'll get you an invitation back to Oklahoma. Well, he opened a hatch and shoved me out, and I had to walk around the world. Had to walk around the world a couple times to get an invitation. Well, it was 3 years ago that I was invited back to Oklahoma City, and I really enjoyed it. But I didn't think I'd have to go to the moon and back just to get my Okie pin. It's an honor to be the #1 honorary Okie of Oklahoma, and it's certainly a privilege, and I'm very, very proud of it. But you know, there's more happening today on the 4th of July, and when I heard these children out here sing, and when I feel your applause, I heard Anita, hear the words that are being said here today, I feel your enthusiasm and your pride in this great country of ours. It's hard to find words that really express a man's feelings, but mine very sincerely are, thank God I'm an American. I'd like to wish us all a happy birthday, because this is probably one of the greatest celebrations, the 4th of July, that our country has to look forward to. We had many, many rewards on our flight. It was an incredible 8 days on Apollo 10 going to the moon, and some of the experiences were tremendous. And the rewards from completing and going through some of the challenges were something you can't believe. I'd like to be able to tell you about each and every one of them, but we don't have time. But I'd like to tell you that one of the greatest rewards that we've been able to experience is the type of thing we're seeing right here. When we landed and came aboard the USS Princeton, the aircraft carrier, there were 300 sailors who were yelling and cheering, and their enthusiasm and their pride that they showed, not for Tom Stafford and John Young and Gene Cernan or Apollo 10, but the pride and enthusiasm that they showed for the accomplishments of the United States of America was one of the most fantastic rewards a man can have. And we went on from there to Houston and to Cape Kennedy and to California and saw little children like we see here today dressed in red, white, and blue. And we saw people waving flags and holding a sign saying, "I'm proud to be an American." And we saw a little old man who probably hasn't been able to salute or hasn't saluted since the Spanish-American War some 60 years ago give us a salute. That was his pride. Not in three guys who felt they represented each and every one of you and some 200 million Americans around the country on an individual venture, but that was their way, children and adults alone, of sharing their pride and showing their enthusiasm in the United States of America. We've been very fortunate, those of us in the space program, to represent all of you on an incredible adventure. We've received many honors, and this is a tremendous tribute here today. Again, not for us, but for the 4th of July, for the birthday of our country. We certainly accept your enthusiasm. We share your pride. We say God bless you. And remember that it's not the 4th of July that makes the United States of America the greatest country in the history of mankind. It's those 365 days that go from 4th to 4th to 4th. Don't stop waving the American flag, and for golly sakes, don't stop being proud in what it represents. You've got 365 more days till the next 4th of July, and that's going to be another year, another birthday of our country, and it's going to be 1 year greater, and it's going to be 1 year that we can all look forward to, and it's going to be one that you children down here, I know, can look forward to, and in 10 years and 20 years, again, living in a country that is going to still be the greatest country in the world. God bless you all, and thank you for inviting me.
Commander Gene Cernan. Now Howard Newman will present some gifts to the astronauts, gifts from the Oklahoma Broadcasters Association. Howard Newman.
I'll tell you what I want to do. I'd like to turn the table on the astronauts here just a moment. I'd like you to be part of the show, and I want to turn the table on the astronauts. You gentlemen have been presented to many audiences all over the world now. But today, right now, I know that you know there are fine people everywhere, but I want to present to you more fine people per square mile than any place you'll find in the world. The greatest group of God-fearing, flag-saluting, country-loving people in the whole world right here in this auditorium and in our audience. And there they are, gentlemen. You know, these are the men who carried us just about to the surface of the moon and back, and through the magic of radio and television during May, we were all able to feel a part of Apollo 10. We appreciate it. Now, on behalf of the Oklahoma City Association of Broadcasters and the hundreds of radio and television stations all over the world that carry the broadcasts, telecasts, we want to present the children with portable AM/FM radios. And Colonel Stafford, you get an RCA portable color set. Commander Cernan, you get a Zenith portable color set. Don't worry, you won't have to carry them home. We'll ship them to you. We hope you enjoy them, and on the face of that tube will be pictures that come from a free enterprise system of communications that was developed through the private industry segment of the economy, and we think it's the greatest in the world. Thank you very much for all you've done. There they are.
Yesterday, there was a big celebration in Weatherford, Oklahoma, from Stafford's hometown. And about 125 residents of Weatherford have accompanied the Staffords and the Cernans to Oklahoma City to take part in the Stars and Stripes show.
Got another thrill coming up. Not too many years ago in Elk City, Oklahoma, a Baptist minister's wife gave birth to a son. And when this little boy was old enough to reach the keys, he played the organ in his father's church. During the week after school, he used to go out in the garage to practice piano. And about the age of 13, he started writing songs. Now it's 10 years later, and he's still writing songs, and he's writing some pretty good ones. Songs like Up, Up, and Away, By the Time I Get to Phoenix, Wichita Lineman, Galveston. We're proud that he's from Oklahoma. He comes to us together with his group and his act from the Desert Inn, especially for today, for this afternoon show. Flew in this morning, going to fly back right after the show, from Elk City, by way of Las Vegas, California, and the world, Mr. Jimmy Webb.
Ride in my beautiful balloon? Would you like to glide in my beautiful balloon? Float among the stars together, you and I, but we can't fly. Up and away in my beautiful balloon. Nicer place in my beautiful balloon. Where's the nicer face in my beautiful balloon? We could sing a song and sail along the silver sky, but we can't fly. Up and away in my beautiful balloon. Suspended under the twilight canopy, we'll search the clouds for a star to guide us. If by some chance you find yourself a loving me, girl, find the cloud to hide us, keep the moon beside us. Love is waiting there in my beautiful balloon, way up in the air in my beautiful balloon. If you'll hold my hand, we'll chase your dream across the sky. We can fly. Up and away in my beautiful balloon. The time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising. She'll find the note I left her hanging on her door. she reads the part that says I'm leaving, 'cause I've left that girl oh, too many times before. By the time I get to Galveston, oh Galveston, I still hear your sea winds blowing. I still see her dark eyes glowing. She was 21 when I left Galveston. I still see her standing by the water, standing there looking up to sea. And is she waiting there for me on the beach where we used to run? By the time I make Albuquerque, she'll be working. She'll probably stop at lunch, try to give me a call. But all she'll hear is that empty phone. Just keep on ringing. I am a lineman for the county. Searching in the sun for another overload. I hear you singing in the wire. I can hear you through the wire. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. Do I need a small vacation? Oh yeah, but it don't look like rain. The snows that stretch down south, oh, it ain't gonna stand the strain. No, 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 and I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. Wichita lineman is still on the line. And she will cry to think that I would really leave. When time and again I've tried to tell that woman so. Oh, she just didn't know that I would really go. Thank you so much. I can only say that it's my pleasure, and I'm glad to be here, gladder than you are. And I'm just going to go right ahead, if you'll excuse me. The end has come and found us here, with our toys scattered all around us here. The puzzle that we never found an answer for still asks us, darling, just what all the games were for. And here we stand in a box of sand. Where's the playground now, Susie? You're the one who's supposed to know her way around. Oh, where's the playground, Susie, if I don't stay around? If I don't stay around. Oh, the carousel has stopped us here. You know it twirled a time or two, and then it dropped us here. And still you're not content with something about me. But what merry-go-round can you ride without me to take your hand? Tell me, baby, how would you stand? Where's the playground now, Susie? If I decide to let you go and play around, where's the playground, Susie? If I don't stay around, if I don't stay around. Tell me, baby, where's the playground now, Susie, if I don't stay around, if I don't stay around. So scared up here. About a year ago in Los Angeles, I had the pleasure of working a benefit for a fine character actor named Frank Silvera. And the director on the benefit was a somewhat insane Irish actor named Richard Harris, probably known best to you as King Arthur in Camelot for Warner Brothers. We became very good friends. We decided to do a record more for fun than anything else. I had a piece of material, a little extra long, a little extra hard to perform that I couldn't interest some other artists in doing. Richard agreed to do it as an act of faith, and happily it became a hit, so I'm going to try to do it for you now, if I may. MacArthur Park. Thank you. another song for me, for I will sing it. There will be another dream for me, someone will bring it. I will drink the wine while it is warm, never let you catch me looking at the sun. And after all the loves of my life, after all the loves of my life, you'll still be the one, girl. I will take my life into my hands, and I will use it. I will win the worship in their eyes, and I will lose it. I will have the things that I desire, and my passion flow like rivers through the sky. And after all the loves of my life, oh, after all the loves of my life, I'll be thinking of you, girl, and wondering why.
How about that? Isn't that something? All you have to do is put a piano out in the garage and practice when you're 13. Now I'm going to ask Anita Bryant to come back on. Anita?
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the little tiny babies in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got those little bitty babies in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got you and me, brothers, in his hands. He's got you and me, brothers, in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the little tiny babies in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got those little bitty babies in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got
got you and me, brothers. In his hands he's got you and me, brothers. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. Everybody here. In his hands he's got everybody here. In his hands he's got everybody here. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. Come on, let me hear everybody out there. He's got the whole world. He's got the whole wide world. Yeah. In his hands he's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. Let me hear you now. One more time. Yeah. He's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole wide world. In his hands he's got the whole world. In his hands he's got the whole world in his
Thank you so very much. My latest sacred album, entitled How Great Thou Art, has been a tremendous thing for me to be able to express my faith in God in vehicles like just recently the Billy Graham Crusade in New York. And I thank God that I live in a country where we can say what we feel and have the freedom to worship or not to worship. This is everything. And how grateful I am to be a citizen of these United States, to have this freedom.
When I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and take me home, what joy shall fill my heart. Then I shall bow in humble adoration and there proclaim
my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou
All right, now here is one of the most exciting, one of the most inspiring groups that you've ever met.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Up With People. Tickets, please, there's a lot in store. You'll meet Jewel Weaver and 100 more.
Here's Ann Buffington, she's out of sight.
And Pat Stone, we're all here tonight.
To meet Chuck Bartlett and to sing out brass.
But best of all, meet the whole darn cast.
We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension. Whoa, yeah. And you can come along if you wanna. It's a never-been world that we're gonna see. We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. And you can come along if you wanna. It's a never-been world that we're gonna see. We're launching into a new dimension. Whoa, yeah, like thunder and hoof-beats, racing down the rail. Hear the engines hum and the lonesome wail. They're pounding a rhythm, and it seems to say we're rolling onward to a better day.
his cry, bringing a hope that will never die, and the wonder of it all. Rainfall on the open sea, wind sing an endless melody. Oh, how it all fits so perfectly, and the wonder of it all. What does it all mean when you cannot seem to find peace inside? Oh, wasting a lifetime searching the world wide, you'll find there's no place on earth you can hide. Just to see a child at play, building the dream that will live someday, how quickly he gives his whole heart away to the wonder of it all. Some stand and watch, never know, never see what matters at all. Then there comes the dawn of day. You'll find the words that you long to say. Then like a child give your heart away to the wonder of it all. Wonder, to the wonder of it
I said to my little son, so tired out when the day was done. Then he said, as I tucked him in, tell me, Daddy, what color's God's skin? What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said it's black, brown, it's yellow, it is red, it is white. Every man's the same in the good Lord's sight. He looked at me with his shining eyes. I knew I could tell no lies when he said, Daddy, why do the different races fight if we're the same in the good Lord's sight? What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said it's black, brown, it's yellow, it is red, it is white. Every man's the same in the good Lord's sight. I said, son, that's part of our suffering past, but the whole human family is learning at last. The thing we missed on the road we trod was to walk as the daughters and the sons of God. What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said it's black, brown, it's yellow, it is red, it is white. Every man's the same in the good Lord's sight. These words to America man once hurled, God's last chance to make a world. The different races are meant to be our strength and glory from sea to sea. What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said it's black, brown, it's yellow, it is red, it is white. Every man's the same in the good Lord's sight. Every man's the same in the good Lord's sight. Every man's the same in Well, it happened just this morning as I was walking down the street. A milkman and a postman and a policeman I did meet. And there in every window and in every single door, well, I recognized people I never noticed before.
Up, up with people, you meet wherever you go. Up with people, they're the best kind of folks we know. If more people were poor people, all people everywhere, there'd be a lot less people to worry about, and a lot more people who care. There'd be a lot less people to worry about, and a lot more people who care.
People from the Southland and people from the North, like a mighty army I saw them coming forth. Was a great reunion befitting of a king. Then I realized people are more important than things.
Up with people, you meet them wherever you go. Up with people, they're the best kind of folks we know. If more people were poor people, all people everywhere, there'd be a lot less people to worry about, and a lot more people who care. There'd be a lot less people to worry about, and a lot more people who care.
Inside everybody, there's some bad and there's some good. But don't let anybody start attacking peoplehood. Love them as they are, but fight for them to be great men and great women, as God meant them to be.
Up with people, you can meet them wherever you go. Up with people, they're the best kind of folks we know. If more people were poor people, all people everywhere, there'd be a lot less people to worry about, and a lot more people who care. There'd be a lot less people to worry about, and a lot more people who care.
Okay, everybody get up and do it with us now. Up with people. You meet them wherever you go. Up with people. Why, they're the best kind of folks we know. If more people, all people everywhere. You love less people to worry about, and a lot more people who care.
There'd be a lot less people to worry about, and a lot more people who care.
Today, man has gone further and faster than ever before in history. And one of the pacesetters of our generation was the late astronaut, Colonel Ed White. We'd like to tell you now the story of his famous walk in space.
On June 3rd of 1965 at 10:16 a.m. at Cape Kennedy, two astronauts had a nation watching them, perched atop a Titan rocket in their capsule Gemini 4. Majors White and McDivitt lifted skyward with a roar. At 3:15 that afternoon on orbit number 3, they depressurized the spacecraft very gradually, and when he opened up the hatch, I wish I could have seen his face as Ed White stepped out into space. Ed White, what a sight he saw, what a brave and lucky guy, as he made his famous walk across the sky. He floated freely at the end of a 25-foot line, 135 miles high, and he was feeling fine. He took pictures of the heavens, he took pictures of the ground. With the use of his maneuvering gun, he could easily move around. 6,000 miles he covered on his 20-minute walk. When the time came for returning, Ed White seemed to balk. Then the order from McDivitt came, and it must have made him grin, as he said, "Hey, you dirty dog, get back in. Ed White, what a sight he saw, what a brave and lucky guy, as he made his famous walk across the sky. Honors and decorations they received back here on earth, from the president and colleges and cities of their birth. Then at Ed White's final interview, he asked to say this word. It was the most amazing quote that I had ever heard. And these are the words of Ed White. Well, we don't quite know what's out there just yet, or what we're going to find by going there. But those of you with children will appreciate better what I have to say. We've somehow got to make this a better place to live. The world, I mean. And maybe we can find some of the answers out there in space. Answers to problems like overpopulation, crime, things like that. Maybe even the answer to war. Yes, out there in space, as I remember during my little walk above the Earth, you can see problems from what I guess you call better perspective. They look mighty small from 150 miles up. And the world itself, well, it looks cleaner and much more beautiful. And maybe we can make it that way God intended it to be, by giving everyone eventually that new perspective. We can give our youth a new frontier, a new world, maybe many new worlds to explore. Oh, it's going to be exciting, this conquest of space, and full of a lot of wonderful things. Things we never even dreamed about before. Ed White, what a sight he saw, what a brave and lucky guy, as he made his famous walk across the sky. Now I hope you'll all remember these immortal words of Ed, for he may have had a closer view of the world that lies ahead. And somewhere up there in orbit is another Gemini 4, with Colonel Ed White walking across the sky forevermore. Ed White, what a sight he saw, what a brave and lucky guy, as he made his famous walk across the sky. Ed White, what a sight he saw, what a brave and lucky guy, now he walks forevermore across the sky. Now he walks forevermore across the sky.
We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension, whoa, yeah. And you can come along if you wanna. It's a never-been world that we're gonna see. We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension, whoa, yeah. And you can come along if you wanna. It's a never-been world that we're gonna see. We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. Problems, hang-ups, don't you see, belong to yesterday. This generation is future-bound and hanging in there all the way. Now we're launching into a new dimension, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension. And you can come along if you wanna. It's a never-been world that we're gonna see. We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. Like a summer storm that's forming up, you can see the sign. It's coming all together of every heart and soul and mind. Now we're launching into a new dimension, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension, oh yeah. And you can come along if you wanna. It's a never-been world that we're gonna see. We're launching into a new dimension, yeah, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension.
away, never tried. There's a thought, a new idea that never crossed my mind. I believe that it's just the eve of the dawning of the morning of time. Dawning has just begun. I see the sun for everyone. Dawning has just begun. It is the dawn of the morning of time. You know, I look at the people around me, just waiting to do something great. And I know they're gonna do it. The night's been dark, but now I see the new rays of a day we never dared dream of before. There's so much to do, so many places to go, so much space to explore, and so many things to build. It's just got to be the dawn of the morning of time. With the dawn, all love is born, never known before. It wipes a tear from every eye. Just feel the wind, it's stirring in the hearts of all mankind. I believe that it's just the eve of the dawning of the morning of time. Dawning has just begun. I see the sun for everyone. Dawning has just begun. It is the dawn of the morning of time. It is the dawn of the morning of
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to take Up With People home with you, our record is available this afternoon as you leave the auditorium. You know, Dick and I were sitting in our hotel room the other day, and we were thinking about the future, so we wrote some songs about it. I'm thinking about the days ahead, way past my day. A long, long time from now. I'm thinking about the days ahead, way past my day. A long, long time from now. I'm thinking. When folks are living in places that I wouldn't dare to now, and they are doing things that I'm afraid to dream about. I'm thinking about the days ahead, way past my day. A long, long time from now. I'm thinking. Will there be cars that fly?
I wonder if they'll have a Monday morning.
Will there be cities in the sky?
I wonder if they'll wonder about the days ahead, like I do when I'm thinking. And taking for granted all the things I stand in awe of now. I'm thinking about the days ahead, way past my day. A long, long time from now. make it. I get a kick out of life. I get a kick out of life. Every day is a new day. Stretching my mind, finding new ways to fill every day with a heap of living. I like to try to do the things you ain't supposed to be able to. I ain't afraid if people talk about the things that I blew. 'Cause it means I shut my mouth long enough to try. Well, I get a kick out of life. I get a kick out of life. Every day is a new day. Stretching my mind, finding new ways to fill every day with a heap of living. Well, you can do a lot of things you never thought you could before. When you try your heart out and you give out just a little more. You do, not what you think or say. What I do is what I am. What I do is what I tend to become. Not every man can travel through the boundless stars, but no matter who you are, every man can go somewhere. Some say that man is leaving here, but in my life, what is it all about? If I can't go, how can I count? You are what you do, not what you think or say. What I do is what I am. What I do is what I tend to become. Not every man can travel through the boundless stars, but no matter who you are, every man can go somewhere. Humanity is like the child full of life, and none of this would happen if it weren't that we are just beginning to learn. You are what you do, not what you think or say. What I do is what I am. What I do is what I tend to become. Not every man can travel through the boundless stars, but no matter who you are, every man can go somewhere. But no matter who you are, every man can go somewhere. I'm thinking.
just too heavy and alone we'll never see that world we could build together, nothing like before. Oh, it's a new life to feel the emptiness forever. Oh, it's a new life to feel the emptiness forever. Oh, it's a new life to feel the emptiness forever. More.
To this time, it was happening just for this time, ticking away so this could happen, and it's happening now, and it's happening now, and it's happening now.
Everyone is ready, they're holding their breath and watching. The sky opens and man's wildest dreams start to come true.
Ticking away so this could happen, and it's happening now, and it's happening now, and it's happening now.
During all of this time he was reaching for this moment, not knowing that he is cut away from Mother Earth.
Ticking away so this could happen, and it's happening now, and it's happening now, and it's happening now.
Now he's out there and does not know what to do, but you know, I think he'll do it.
Ticking away so this could happen, and it's happening now, hey! And it's happening now, and it's happening now. Every moment up to this time, it was happening just for this time. It was happening just for this time. Ticking away so this could happen. Hey, hurry! And it's happening now. Hey, and it's happening now. And it's happening now. And it's happening now. And it's happening now.
There's a road we've never walked. We've never walked before. There's a way
along if you wanna. It's never been the world that we're gonna see. We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension, yeah. We're launching into a new dimension, oh yeah. And I believe that it's just begun. It is the dawn of the morning of
$193 years ago, 56 men met in Philadelphia to sign a document that spoke ringingly of the rights of men and the duties of government. And now, close to the close of the show, let's review for a minute just a few of the words of that document. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government. Now these 56 men knew they were embarking on a dangerous course. They knew that many would die to prove the cause of free men, and many did die. Many have died since, reaffirming by their sacrifice that freedom is indeed not free. Today the nation is beset by many problems. It is by no means perfect, yet its political system is by far the best yet devised by the minds of men. And there are those who say that these problems are going to bring about our destruction, but I don't think so. I believe, and I think you believe, that our founding fathers provided the means by which these problems can be solved if we just try hard enough. And the torch is passed to us, young and old alike, to decide which way this country should go. We must love our country, not with a blind love, but with the kind of love that purifies and corrects its faults. And we must work very hard to make sure it's the kind of place where men are truly free. And by joining hands in love and goodwill, we can and we will accomplish it. And we can join the writers of the Declaration in saying, as they did, for support of this Declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above.
God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet.
For 7 years, I had the privilege of being just a small part of the Bob Hope Troupe to entertain, well, next to you, the greatest audience in the world. And each Christmas, I would come back from those tours just more inspired than ever before, that I would have to work very, very hard to become a much better American for having had the privilege of meeting those great Americans over there. And in talking with so many of those men, I came to realize very quickly that they understand that one of the true strengths of our country is a belief in God, as best expressed in the message of this song.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loose the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpets that shall never call retreat.
He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet, while God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching
In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us live to make men free, while God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is
The Stars and Stripes show was produced as a public service by the member stations of the Oklahoma City Association of Broadcasters. It was presented on July 4th before an audience of almost 9,000 people in the State Fair Arena in Oklahoma City. The 2.5-hour show was televised live as an Independence Day gift to the people of Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas by these television stations. The Stars and Stripes show was broadcast by more than 40 radio stations and by the Armed Forces Radio Network. This videotaped edition of the Stars and Stripes show was telecast as a public service feature of this station in the hope that you will remember the great heritage that is ours.